doesn't look like Mr. Jackson couldn't get in either. He's calling on the other line. Hang on. Hey, did you get a meeting request again? I sent it out. Looks like everybody's logging in except I don't see you or John Thompson.
Mr. Malinowski's trying to get in too.
Hey everyone, sorry we had some technical difficulties. If you will just give me one more minute to make everybody gets in, we'll get started.
Good afternoon, folks. Let me apologize. We had a little bit of a glitch getting everyone connected this afternoon, so I do apologize for that. Thank you all for joining us. I certainly want to thank the committee members who are present today and for your presence, and as well as others who are still continuing to join us. I also want to thank the members of council who are not committee members, but who also decided to be a part of our meeting today. It looks like I see a couple of them here as well. Councilwoman Newton, Councilwoman Teresa. I think Ms. Myers is trying to get connected at the moment as well. As always, thank our Chairman Livingston for being here and our Administrator, Mr. Brown. Glad to see Councilman Malinowski here. And I don't think I'm omitting anyone. If I am, please someone yell at me and tell me. Looks like I see everyone, as well as all of the staff members, Dr. Thompson and others who are a part. So we will officially call our meeting to order and get started. The June 30th, 2020 Transportation Ad Hoc Committee meeting is now officially called to order. And with that, we will, Chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes from our last official meeting, which was on April 28th.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Moved. Is there a second?
I'll second that, Mr. Chair, but before we vote, I got a couple questions.
Yes, sir. Moved in second. Question, Mr. Malinowski, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. On page number 5 of our agenda in the minutes section, it says that down toward the bottom, right above the vote in favor was unanimous, it says that Mr. Jackson stated the committee is requested something in writing in the contract which verify their understanding of the full scope of work. Dr. Thompson responded they will ensure this is put into writing. Was that done?
Dr. Thompson, can you respond to that, sir? You're on mute, Dr. Thompson. Dr. Thompson, you're on mute. You're still on mute, sir.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir, we can hear you now.
I'm going to ask the Deputy Director, Allison Steele, to confirm that. Allison?
Yes, absolutely. So how we're going to address that, they have their master contract, and for each individual project, we will be issuing them a work authorization. And through that, we will be listing out the specific tasks and services we need. And that will be their fee proposal will be based on those tasks.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Steele. The other question I have was at the top of page 6, second paragraph, Ms. McBride inquired if we can renegotiate the price with the firm selected without giving the other companies the same opportunity. And
No.
that didn't go any further because Council Chair Livingston said that we should be careful because we'd be bordering on a contractual matter. So did we ever get an answer for that one? First paragraph on page 6 at the top, it says number 6 Green Street Phase 2. And then the next paragraph starts, Ms. McBride inquired.
We did go back and renegotiate the price. Their original cost was a little over $1 million.
Right.
We renegotiated it down to the 815,000.
No, that wasn't her question. Her question was, can you renegotiate the price with the firm selected without giving the other companies the same opportunity?
Oh, I see what you're saying. I believe it would have to be a procurement.
Mr. Diskey's on the line. She can probably answer that. Mr. Diskey?
I am. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Jennifer Ladishkin, procurement manager. The ordinance actually calls for us to negotiate in the way that Allison has performed, that we negotiate with the highest ranked offerer. And then if negotiations are unsuccessful, we move to the second highest ranked. And then should we get down to where we have attempted to negotiate with all offerers, then we can go back and collectively ask them all for their best and final offers. So we would not negotiate with everyone at once. We'd start and do the negotiations in order of the ranking.
Thank you, Ms. Ladishkin. And you have explained that to me before, and I understand, but just for the record, since these questions were out there, I wanted to be sure they were completely addressed. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Malinowski. With those questions being answered, are we ready to vote? If we are, I don't see Ms. Only on the line, and Ms. Robertson is out.
Here.
Okay, Michelle, would you call for the vote, please?
Yes, sir. Malinowski,
Yes.
McBride, Livingston,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Myers.
Abstain. I just got in and I don't know where we are.
Okay, that motion passes. Thank you very much. Next on our agenda is the adoption of today's agenda. Allison, are there any changes or corrections or modifications to today's agenda?
No, sir.
Okay, with that, the chair will entertain a motion to adopt today's agenda.
So moved.
There's a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. Ms. Only, would you call for the vote, please?
Malinowski,
Yes.
McBride, Livingston,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Myers.
Yes.
That motion passes. Thank you very much. Let me say before we move to our next item, which are 2 items for information, that for your information, you may or may not be aware that Mr. Nehemiah is out today and because of the passing of his father. So he's out of town. So we want the record to reflect and the minutes to reflect that we extend our condolences to him and his family in the loss of his father during this time. And so we want to make that officially as a part of our today's minutes, if we will. Thank you very much. Next on our agenda is item number 4, items for information, construction update and design update. Ms. Steele?
Okay, for construction update, we currently have 9 projects in construction. They're moving along pretty well, no major issues. The only project we had a hiccup on is the Green Street project with a delay with the railroad company for getting a flagger, but we've gotten that straightened out now. We have 8 projects in the closeout process, which is really good. That we'll be able to take those off our list altogether in probably another 2 to 3 weeks. 3 Rivers Greenway, just to give an update on that. We have finally coordinated with the city on what we need to get the portion completed, turned over to them. We're in the process of getting an as-built survey completed, and then we'd have a draft IGA ready to turn over maintenance to them. Those are the last two items. I believe they're waiting on to get the full portion up to the Boyd Island connector turned over to them. We are still in discussions with the railroad company on how to complete the connection to the Boyd Island connector. We have two options for that we're looking at. Our first option is to go within the CSX right of way. However, we'll need a permission from them, and they are requiring that we get an appraisal to submit to them for entering into their property. So that's going to fall in with that as-built survey we're doing. Once we get that as-built survey, we'll be able to get the appraisal done for that. It's going to be wording added into the IGA that the city will go ahead and take over the project with the understanding that we're going to still come back and complete that section. That's it for the construction updates. Are there any questions?
Mr. Malinowski. You're on mute, Mr. Malinowski. You're muted. Unmute yourself. There we go.
Got it. Thank you, sir. Ms. Steele, those IGAs, they come to council first, is that correct?
They will, once we get the wording hashed out between our legal and the city's legal department, they will come to council.
Thank you.
No other questions, Allison? You go and proceed with the design updates.
Okay, so as you know, we have the new fiscal year starting in a day or two. Once that gets started, and once budget sets up our new funds for the new fiscal year, we have 4 or 5 projects that are just about ready to go. So we plan on having those advertised by the end of July. Those projects we're looking at is the Faraway Drive Sidewalk. That's part of the larger Decker Woodfield Neighborhood Improvement Project. Then we have the Alpine Road Sidewalk, the Clemson Road Phase 1 Sidewalk, which will pretty much pick up from the Clemson Road widening and install a sidewalk down to Percival Road. And then we have a resurfacing package R, which is going to include 50 roads for resurfacing. So those we feel that we can get advertised by the end of the month of July. We have picked up design services with our OETs on several other projects that were already pretty far along in their design. Now that we got the go-ahead from council to proceed with some of the D-scopes. The main ones we're picking up first are the Crane Creek Neighborhood Improvement Project, the Crane Creek Greenway, and the Gills Creek Greenway. 2 other ones that we didn't really provide any de-scoping to are the 2 Blythewood projects. That's the Blythewood Road Widening Project and the Blythewood Road Area Improvements. So all of those projects, we have reached back out to the OET, and we are in the process of fee negotiation for those. Are there any questions for that?
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir, Mr. Malinowski.
Yeah, Ms. Steele, how was it decided that these would be the projects to move forward versus all the projects in there?
We decided to go ahead and move forward with these first because they were closest to having a full design already completed.
Thank you.
And Allison, when you say full design, is that 70%?
Yeah, we try to stick with the 170% and greater already first. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. If no other questions, we'll move to item number 5, which are items for action. The first one is the mitigation credit sales, Kershaw County, Beechwood at Camden project, and found on pages 8 through pages 26. And we've done this, mitigation credit sales before, but we need to take action on this one as a different piece. Ms. Steele.
I'm going to let Quentin Epps handle this. Quentin, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can, Quentin. Proceed.
Good. We respectfully request that the committee approve and forward to full council the sale of 8.4 wetland mitigation credits. And that will bring in approximately $156,536, and which will go to the transportation penny program. And that is pretty much it, basically, in terms of mitigation credit sales for this. Are there any questions?
Mr. Malinowski.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The big question I have, I don't have a problem. I always vote to approve these mitigation credits, but on page 8 of our agenda, where we've got all the reviews by legal, budget, finance, and other to be approved, there's absolutely nothing in there. It's totally blank. So I don't know how we stand, if there are any glitches in any of those areas or not. So based on that, I would vote no, but so as not to hold it up in the committee. But I really think we need those answers and somebody to look at all this as always prior to getting to council.
I hear you, Mr. Malinowski. And is that something that you would support if we can assure that it will be answered by the time it gets to council?
Yes, I will. I can do that.
Quentin and Allison, can we ensure that that gets addressed and those eyes look on this document, Mr. Brown, before it gets to council?
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Only one other question, Mr. Chair. On page, I guess it'd be 16 of the agenda, where it gives the agreement summary. And I'm not understanding why it has down in the last 2 lines, the county gross proceeds and the MCMH gross proceeds. Aren't those already the net because things have been taken out of there and that's the net that we're getting?
I'm looking at that, Mr. Malinowski, and I believe I agree with you that that should be net because all of the percentages have been taken out per the contract that we have with the mitigation.
Okay, thank you. Just that.
Yeah, I agree. I agree that that's just, I guess, I don't know why we have gross on there. It should be net.
Will we make sure that's corrected before it gets to council, Quentin?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Livingston. Thank you, Mr. Malinowski.
Mr. Chair, I have kind of a general question.
Yes, sir.
Obviously when we sell the credit, it goes back into the penny fund, correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, it appears to me though that eventually we would probably generate more funds from the credits than we paid for with the penny fund. Would that be correct, possibly?
Yes.
What happens once we get to the point where we've sold enough credits to pay back the penny fund? What happens to those credits then? Have we not decided or whatever?
Well, that's correct, Mr. Livingston. That is undecided at this point. Council would have to determine once the penny's paid back, if that money would still go to the penny or if it would go to some other.
General fund somewhere. Okay. So you'll let us know when we get to that point, right? Or close to that point.
Yes, sir.
All right, thanks.
Great question. Thank you, Mr. Livingston. And certainly, certain that Dr. Thompson and the entire department will make sure that they're on top of, so we'll know even before we get it'd be good to know sort of generally as we get closer to it, rather than when we're on top of it. It's a great point. Thank you very much. If there are no other questions, the chair will entertain a motion to approve.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Ms. Myers.
Thank you. Just on that point, long ago, I asked that question and made the comment on the record that it seemed to me extremely odd that the mitigation bank sits in an area where we have no plans for improvement and there's desperate need for improvement, and yet we're making profit off the mitigation bank with no plan to reinvest any of the money made from the bank in the area where the bank sits. I would suggest that maybe a part of what staff is considering is a plan for excess mitigation credit sales receipts to be used for the very area where the mitigation bank sits. Because there's no reinvestment there. It literally, Simpson Road is literally 30 miles from the mitigation bank, and there's no improvement, zero improvement to a very blighted area from the mitigation bank itself. Thank you, sir.
Very good point. Thank you. I'm seeing Dr. Thompson making note, and Mr. Brown is as well. So I think they've heard you loud and clear on that. Good point. If there are no more other comments, the chair will entertain a motion to approve item 5A.
So move, Mr. Chair.
Your second? I'll second it. Any further discussion? Here none, Ms. Maloney, would you call the roll, please? Call. For the vote.
Allen,
Yes.
McBride, Livingston,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Myers.
No.
Thank you. That motion passes. Thank you very much. Item number 5B is staff augmentation, additional selection approval. Ms. Steele?
Yes, so we have brought this to council before. When we originally advertised the solicitation for staff augmentation, we left it advertised for a certain amount of time, and then with the 7 companies that replied, we went ahead and evaluated them and brought them to council so that we could get moving on setting up those contracts. We did leave the advertisement open for a short time afterwards just to see if we got any more nibbles on it. We have received 4 additional firms put in for that. They've been evaluated, and we are now requesting to add those to the on-call staff augmentation list.
Questions or comment? Mr. Malinowski?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Ms. Steele, would you state what you did in the beginning again regarding you left the proposal or the RFQ open? Is that what you said?
Yes, sir. We left it open originally just in case we had some stragglers come along that would really fit the bill but couldn't meet the deadline.
Then why didn't we just make the deadline to what we left it open to?
I'm wondering if Jennifer, do you happen to know?
Hi, good afternoon. It's Jennifer Ladishkin. And we went ahead and evaluated the submittals that we had. We kind of were evaluating them as we received them because the transportation department was in need of getting some of these staff positions filled by the augmentation companies. So we went ahead and evaluated the companies that had submitted kind of on a rolling basis so that we could go ahead and start the process of having those companies approved so they could begin to use them.
I understand what you're saying, but this seems to me like we're rewarding or complacency or not real energetic firms that we had a deadline. We received several firms that made the submittal within the deadline period. And then we're saying, okay, well, just in case you all didn't make that deadline, if you want to submit it, you still can. That to me is not the way that business should be done. So I can't support adding those additional firms that were latecomers. If they really wanted it, they should have seen it and made application initially along with all the others. And again, in this one, the agenda briefing, we need to have filled in all the information. Well, it says not applicable. I don't know why it wouldn't be, but if you could explain that.
Not applicable.
Where it's the review by legal, budget, finance, and everyone else.
Is that because it's purely procurement, Jennifer?
I'm sorry, I haven't seen that document. So I'm not sure why it would say not applicable. I would assume because we've already presented it once before, perhaps.
We're adding to the list we already have.
Correct.
Yes, sir.
But
And-
we're still taking some type of action away from the original action. I would think we'd want to make sure that the action we're taking is proper. For example, the point that I raised, is it proper to now accept firms that are making late application after a deadline had come and gone? Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm done.
Follow up to that, Jennifer, I see you, Mr. Livingston. Did we agree to accept them after the deadline came and went, or did we extend the deadline?
Yes, actually, we extended the deadline and left it open, and then went ahead and evaluated the ones that we had received. And, we did that again just to try to get the ball rolling, and also for transportation's benefit to have perhaps some more choices of positions and people to fill those positions than what we had initially received in the solicitation.
That's actually a good point, Jennifer. For the initial companies that applied for it, we had one firm that really applied for everything. And we did not, we really wanted to have the option to go with the multiple firms. We didn't want to be stuck using one firm for everything if they did not have the best candidate for the position.
Gotcha.
We have since closed the solicitation. It appears that as we go along, we're really just getting recruiting agencies put in for it now, which was not the intent of this augmentation.
Yeah, they will be referring and not actually being willing to do the work themselves.
Absolutely.
Mr. Livingston.
Mr. Chair, my question's been answered. I clearly understand now why the deadline was extended.
Yeah, okay. All right, thank you. Any other questions or comments? If not, the chair will entertain a motion to, for item 5B, to add the additional forms to the staff augmentation list.
So move, Mr. Chair.
The second. I'll second it. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Ms. Only, will you call the roll, call for the vote, please?
Sir. Malinowski,
No.
McBride, Livingston,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Myers.
Yes.
Thank you very much. That motion passes. Thank you, committee members. Thank you for your time today and for helping us to move this forward. With that, the chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
call for the vote. Michelle?
Malinowski,
Yes.
McBride, Livingston,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Myers.
Yes.
Meeting's adjourned. Thank you very much, folks. Have a great day.
Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Chair.
Thank you. Thank you.